So finally, don't force the solution. Present it to them, not that you are forcing it on them. Let them see reasons why they should accept it, why they should see it the same way you are seeing it. Except it has to do with biblical position. That one you cannot compromise. But if it is not a biblical matter, there can be measure of understanding that makes the people to reason with you and agree with you without you forcing them. Don't let them see that you force us to agree. If you force them to agree, the conflict has not ended. Let them come to the level of saying that what you are saying is just the best. And then let's go to the stage 3 of conflict. That is what we call real battle. When the conflict has gone through stage 1, stage 2, now stage 3 is the deepest. It has become war. It has become a big problem. It has gone beyond what you can manage easily. So, conflict at this level is difficult to manage. And the reason is because there is no middle ground. Maybe the church is already broken into two with irreconcilable differences. Each group is standing that is either my own is accepted or nothing is accepted. At that level, the pastor is already part of the conflict. If it goes this way, this group will say, okay, we know that you belong there. They will find reasons why they know it belongs there. If it comes this way, these people will say, yes, we know it belongs here. So at this level, there is a need for an external body. There's a need for an arbitration from somewhere else. This is where you bring a higher authority in. If you are within the denomination, you bring your leaders into it. You bring those people that they respect, people they can listen to, into it. Because it has gone beyond what you can manage. So the leaders need to come in. And you need to present the matter to the leaders without biasness so that you don't set them up for failure. Let them have the total and thorough understanding of what is on ground so that they can undo it. Let the people see them as neutral. In fact, in a situation where they have seen a particular leader as supportive of a group, he is unqualified to mediate. So you need to get somebody who is perceived to be non-partisan to undo that matter. So there's a need for a stranger, somebody that both parties will have confidence in. That's the only person that can talk and both parties will listen to at that level. So that is the major crisis, and most of the crises within the denominations, major denominations are at this level, where whoever want to mediate, they quickly read meaning to it and they will not listen. Even when they come up with the final conclusion, the both parties will still not agree. So there's a need for someone that is highly respected by both parties, somebody that both parties cannot refuse, so that when the person now tells them this is the position, because of their respect for him, then they will agree to give peace a chance. While all this thing is going on, you as a pastor must steer clear and be seen to be so. Be very clear. Don't be biased. Let there be confidence of both groups in you. There is always tendency to be biased, but the leader has to fight it off so that the conflict can be resolved. There's a need for objectivity, and then there's a need for detailed handling of the matter. You don't undo matter at this level on the surface. You have not solved the problem. It has to be handled in details. You have to deal with the nitty-gritty, things that you know will still spring up another conflict in the future. It has to be managed. It has to be addressed. Now, let's look at basics of conflict management. Titus chapter 3, verses 10 through 11. Paul was admonishing Titus on how to manage the church where he was, issues that can come up, and how Titus was to address them. Now, some certain factors are highlighted. Number one is that to manage conflict where you are, don't get defensive. Don't get defensive. You know, sometimes the leader himself may be wrong, the pastor may be wrong. Don't be defensive. When a leader apologizes when he is strong, it makes people to trust him more. They believe him more. When he rebukes them after, they accept it because he himself is not proud, you know. But there is always a tendency for pastors to be defensive. We want to prove that we are right. We don't want to accept defeat. Accepting defeat when you are wrong does not mean you have accepted defeat in life. Wisdom is principal. Wisdom is key in managing the church. So if you are wrong, don't be defensive. And let's train the church not to be defensive. Let's learn objectivity. And it's going to do the church a lot of good. Number two, you have to make sure that the leadership of the church is carried along in all your decisions. It's very, very important so that they can defend it. Especially in an heterogeneous setting in a local church where you have the deacon board, the elders, and all that. Every major decision, make sure you carry all of them along. If all of them are carried along, where there is issue, you are not the one to defend it. They will be the one defending it. But if they are not carried along, the moment somebody raises an issue, they will start with the fact that they are not carried along. And there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a conflict. So there should be a way of carrying the people along in every vision, in every major program, so that when there is a problem, the pastor will be easily exonerated from whatever come up. Be completely transparent with your board. If you have a church board, be completely transparent. If you are not transparent, it's a problem. Even if there is no conflict in your tenure, when a new pastor comes, they will expose you to him that you were not transparent, especially if that one is transparent. So nothing is covered. So let there be transparency. It makes the church not to get drowned in conflict. A transparent person will be defended. So transparency is very important. It's one of the basics of conflict management. And then involve the leadership team in confronting issues that come up in the church. Once there is a problem, don't handle it alone. Involve the leadership team. Let it be we, not I. If it is we, it's easier to manage than I. So, by the way, nobody is all wise. Essence of bringing all those people to work with the pastor is because it is believed that the pastor does not know it all. So let all these people come around. And another thing is that these people respect some of these people on individual capacity. So if everybody talk to them, those who don't respect you will respect your deacon, or respect one elder, or respect one old man or one old woman. That's how to go about these things. And you see that we take care of this thing. And then focus on the kingdom, not yourself. You see, when we focus on the kingdom, God knows how to defend this church. God knows how to solve problems. But when you focus on yourself, when you project yourself to the church as the Messiah, when problem come, the Lord himself will not help you because he's a jealous God. But when you do the kingdom business, you are presenting Jesus to the people. When problem come up, Jesus will defend his name. So as we do all these things and we stay on course, you will realize that many of the problems we have in church will be easily taken care of. And then, what are the sins that can easily lead to conflict in the church? Number one, gossip, dissension, divisiveness, and rebellion. Anytime you sense these things, make sure you handle them on time. Don't abandon them. Don't ignore them. They will become bigger problems. Once there are gossips, even those who are coming to you as a pastor and gossiping to you, that's the same way they will gossip about you to someone else, and they will create a big problem with time. So deal with that. And then number two, complacency, passivity, and apathy. There are pastors who don't care. When you are complacent, things are getting out of hand, you don't really bother. You're just there. You don't really care. The church building is collapsing, you don't bother. The church is very dirty, you don't care. The attendance is going down, you don't really bother. Everything is going down, you are not concerned. No, that is going to lead to a very big problem. There must be conflict someday. Some people must rise up and complain that you are not doing well. And then it's going to be a problem. So don't be complacent, be in charge. Be at the forefront, be leading, and then so some conflict will naturally die when people are busy. But when people are idle, they are bound to fight. And then number three, critical spirit. There are human beings that criticize everything. You're going to have them in your church. Sometimes you have them in your board. These people, there is nothing anybody can do. They must find fault with it. It's their nature. You must learn how to manage them. You don't fight them. They are just like that. Something you have done and everybody is commending you. The first thing they will see there is fault. So you have these people. They're everywhere. No, you don't say, no, I don't want them. Remove them. No, you don't remove them. It's better they are even criticizing where you are hearing them, because you can correct yourself down. They're criticizing from the back. So people with critical spirit are to be managed in the church. You begin to work on them to change. I'm praying for them to change. But they are there in every church. Those who are very critical. And then you don't allow them to dampen your spirit. In a church of 500 people, 450 are being blessed and they are happy. Forget about the 10 people with critical spirit who are not seeing anything good. The reason is this. If you become bitter because of the 10, you will no longer bless the 450 who are interested in you. And that is failure on your side. So you have those people. Then self-pride. Self-pride. There are people who are proud. Nobody is like them. The pastor must not be in this group. There are pastors who are proud too, who will tell the members that I'm above your level. If not because they brought me here. You people are not educated. You are not even fit for me to be pastoring you and all that. If you do that, the moment people know that you talk them down, you bring them down, there's not, even if you wake the dead from the dead, you raise the dead, they are not with you. Because you've already dampened their morale. You have already humiliated them. Or if there's a particular tribe you have talked down the tribe, and that's their tribe. So there's no way you buy them anymore. So we should avoid self-pride. Don't see yourself as superior or better. See yourself as a team player with the rest, and you see that conflict will be far away from the church. Unforgiveness. People are going to offend you as the leader. They will offend one another. They must be taught to forgive one another. After all, God forgives us too. Unforgiveness can lead to a major conflict, especially when you are looking for an opportunity to now eat the person back. No, law of karma is not allowed in the New Testament church. And then another thing is power struggles. This was the reason why the disciples of Jesus were fighting. They were fighting. Who is going to be the greatest among us? And this is it's like this in every church. Power struggle, even in the department, among the workers, among the choir members, among the pastors. Power struggle, power tussle. We need grace to manage this. And the Lord will help us. So these are the things that cause conflict. Because when there is power struggle and conflict, there will be critical spirit. There will be running down of one another. All those things will happen. And then number 8, personal agendas. There are people in the church with personal agendas. They must be identified. Now, those who have personal agenda will never come up and say, I have personal agenda. No, everybody will hide under one thing or the other. They will spiritualize it. Somebody who is poor, who doesn't have money to contribute, yeah, a poor person, we always oppose church development. If you say we are going to build this church in a gigantic way to the glory of God, he will tell you that God is not looking in the house built by men. God is living in our heart, and he will begin to drive that and demoralize those who are even ready to do. But that's not really the matter. The matter is he knows that if we accept to rebuild the church, then we will be forced to pay, and he has nothing to pay. And some of them are in the board. So that when you bring up anything that will involve money, they will look for a way to spiritually defeat it. But the reason why they are doing that is because they have nothing to bring. So personal agendas. There are those who want to be leader. They will run down those who are there. They will be coming to you, running down those who are there, so that you'll be able to see that they are not doing well and you remove them and they will come up. But they won't tell you why I'm doing this is because I'm interested. So personal agenda. You should be able to see through personal agenda. Not all advices and counsels and help people are coming around you. Not all of them are sincere. There are personal agendas which the pastor, the leader must see through. And then number 9, unwillingness to change. There are those who don't want to change. And any attempt to force them to change, they will gather people around themselves and cause conflict. So we need wisdom to manage this type of situation. You need wisdom. You need to be mature about it. Don't attack the person like we have said earlier. And then gradually befriend such people so that they will, a time will come that they will, even if they are not changing because of God, they will change because they don't want to offend you. And then number 10, unwillingness to evangelize. There are churches that don't want to evangelize. They don't want to go out. All they are thinking is how to develop their church. They don't want to talk. Any pastor that talk about expansion, they will fight him. They say, no, we are just here. It is this place we want to. So it requires wisdom so that you can progress, so that you can move forward. And the church will begin to move forward. Finally, conflict is both positive and negative. It depends on the way we approach it. If it is well approached, it will lead to the growth of the church and expansion of the work of Christ and the body of Christ. If it is not well approached, it will scatter the entire work. There is no level we raise the church to if we cannot manage conflict. Conflict can tear it down. It can tear a denomination down. It can scatter anything. It has destroyed nations. It has destroyed empires. It has destroyed kingdoms. Unresolved conflict. And so we must always look for opportunities hidden in conflict so that the church will move forward. We will continue from here the next class. If you have a question, you send it to my WhatsApp number 08032. Okay. All right. I will even post that. God bless you.